Why are we subsidizing somebody else?
Good? Okay. All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to this public hearing this June 1st, 2026. We're here for a proposed budget for fiscal year 2026 through 27. I'll just remind everybody on the public hearing aspect. A public hearing is understood to be a forum for people interested in the subject matter to present information to City Council for its consideration as it deliberates an issue. It's not a forum for debate or argument between members of the council, opponents or proponents, or each other. Each speaker shall be limited to 5 minutes. We'll have a clock. You can see it already up there on the screen, unless the City Council authorizes one extension of 3 minutes. The presiding officer may terminate a presentation that's covering the same information as presented by a previous speaker. Such speakers shall be encouraged to simply state their agreement with the previous speaker and bring new information to the subject. I'm gonna start it off with Leslie, or Andy is. Okay.
I'll kick it off.
You're gonna kick it off. All right, go for it. Yes, sir.
Well, the budget for us is a 6-month project. We start in December, January, and this is the culmination of it. We are a very inclusive process. There's probably not an employee, all 350 employees in some form or fashion have touched this budget in some way. And considerable input from the people who have the boots on the ground to actually do the work. That way we know the equipment they need. Having that relationship with them helps us budget in a way that achieves one of your goals, which is to be an employer of choice. So we often find out that we know what people are needing, then we go talk to them and say, oh, we didn't see that at all. So this year, we started off with your work session, and you guys said that 3 years from now, there are 7 things that you want to be able to say. And one of those is you have attractive and functional infrastructure. You want to say you provided a robust menu of citizen-focused services. You want to be recognized for being an employer of choice. You want effective and relational government and community engagement. You want to cultivate and sustain vibrant business corridors, work on attainable and diverse housing mix, and then improve town-gown relationships with the university. So that there is the examples specifically of the ways you've invested your money to help bring about these outcomes. And we'll get into them more in detail as the presentation continues, but from the 30,000-foot view, you're looking at no millage increase. We have an overall rate increase of 3.3%. So for the average home, you're looking at $4 a month. That's for all the services. We added some personnel. We have a net increase of 7 new positions. Operating revenues are $70 million. Operating expenditures are $56 million, and we have a $51 million capital outlay. And we are compliant with our minimum fund balance policy. Now Leslie's going to come up and she can walk us through some of the more specifics of this thing.
Thank you. One thing to note, it looks as if we're spending a lot more money than we're bringing in, but we do have proceeds from bonds that are sitting in the account waiting to do the projects, and we have funds that we've been saving to also spend on a lot of these projects. So as Andy said, we're spending $69.4 million. I mean, we're expecting $69.4 million in revenues. Each of those types of funds, between the general fund, enterprise funds are our business-like funds, water, sewer, transit, parking services, and sanitation. So I wanted just to explain that, because we're going to go into detail for some of these. Of course, the special revenue funds, we can only use those funds for what is the designated use of those funds. And then capital projects, the $3 million you see there is for the grants that we're giving, and capital projects funds are individual funds that are for specific projects. And debt service is how we pay our general obligation bonds, and then internal service funds it is our self-insurance fund. So it is how we fund our insurance benefits. On the operating expenditure side, it's a $56 million overall. Again, these are the same funds categories. So our largest pot is the enterprise fund, and then general fund is next. So if you'll go to the next one, we're going to keep going. And then this kind of shows the capital outlay percentages by the types of funds. Andy alluded to that we're having a 7 net increase in positions. That's about a $530,000 estimated increase to add those positions. We'll have some in rec, some officers, and a police telecommunicator, jail officer, a mechanic being added, a communication specialist, and an associate planner. Some of the ones we changed were some positions we had that they needed them to be different, and so they were requested, but they knew they had a position already funded, but they wanted it to be a different position. So the arborist and whichever one else maintenance tech and an HR generalist. So in the general fund, so our revenues primarily come from taxes, and this is not just property taxes. This is local option sales taxes. This is franchise fees that our utilities pay us for being in our right-of-ways. And then as you see, the other items down the list are grants or permits and business license. And the contributions and donations is coming from the hub. That's their other half of their contribution for Abernathy. In the general fund expenditures, so we do expenditures by function. So public safety is the largest costing department or function we have, which includes police and fire. Culture and recreation would be your parks, rec, urban land management, the art center, and CAM. Those are the departments that are in there. General government would be public buildings, admin, finance, IT, any of us that do something for all the other departments in the city. Public works is in the general fund is strictly street department. And housing and development is planning, and of course court and debt service is this is not our bonds, because our bonds are in our debt service fund, but we do have a small, what we used to call a capital lease, and it's for one of the boom trucks that we bought several years ago. So we're almost paid that off. In this year's budget, the capital purchases means our equipment. So these would be the items that our departments have requested. And when you hire new police officers, you have to have new vehicles. And then we're also on a replacement plan. So 7 of the police vehicles are for a replacement plan, and 2 would be for the new police officers. The other largest item up there is the leaf vacuum truck. Our capital projects, these are the ones in the general fund, and the sidewalk projects, the biggest project in that group is the Goldman neighborhood. And then we have the downtown streetscape, which is being funded by a grant, partially. And then, as you see, we have like 3 different projects that are paving street, 27, 26, and the DOT grant. The DOT grant is for Clemson Heights, and if you want me to tell you all the streets, I have the list of those. We can either go over that now. Mountain View Lane, Lakeside, Edgewood Avenue, Dogwood, Wigington Street, North Clemson, Sloan Street, East Lewis Extension, Honeycutt Lane, Poplar Drive, Mountain Laurel Drive. Those are all in the 27 street paving list. The 26th street paving list is Vista Drive, Vista Circle, Benson Boulevard, Folger, Payne, Abel, Raven, and Curtis Circle. So, of course, well, and the Abernathy is one of the largest projects, and we have a bond for that, so that's why it's marked as the bond proceeds. And then the Black Heritage Trail. Okay, as Andy mentioned, we're not asking for a millage increase, and so this slide is really to explain how taxes and how we're very fortunate because the county has a local option sales tax and how that helps our taxpayers. So if you have a house that's valued at $200,000 and it is your primary residence, it is assessed at 4%, and then our millage rate multiplied by that would give you a tax bill of $743 and change. Because right now we still don't know what our local option sales tax credit or lost will be. We are basing this on the current lost rate, and it would reduce our tax bill by $239.20 to show that our net homeowner would pay $504.
You're saying you don't know what that local option is because the county has not finalized their budget?
No, that is, the state doesn't give it to them to give to us until after, it's like July when I get that
The beginning of the
information.
fiscal year. Got it. Okay.
So this is the breakdown of what that same kind of bill would look like. And if you, on the left, it's picking like the whole tax bill. There's one piece that's not on here, which could be your Tri-County Tech, and I don't know if that changes, so we didn't show that here. But Pickens County is a 65.2 mil, and right now their estimated tax credit would be given a tax due of $296. The school board, this is just their bond, because we, as a homeowner, we don't pay their operating. So it's $416 for the school board, and then the city of Clemson, after our rate, our lost credit, it would be $504. So that kind of shows you the percentages of a tax bill breakdown in the city of Clemson. And then on the right, it kind of shows you what every dollar is spent on by function of general fund. So again, it sort of breaks down just like the expenses, where the majority of it goes to pay for public safety, general government, rec, public works, and down the line. So that gives people an idea of how much it costs by month, basically, for their tax bill. Enterprise, sorry. Okay, so our enterprise funds are our water, stormwater, sewer, sanitation, transit, and parking. So overall, all of those enterprise funds revenues are expected to be $28.2 million, and operating is at $20.5 million with $23.5 million worth of capital outlay, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. At one of our previous meetings, I can't remember which one, but we had our rate study consultant go over the rate study, and these were the recommended rates. It is a 4% increase, and in a later slide, it'll show you how much the 5,000 gallon rate total bill will be for the city, but it's a $4 increase. Most of our revenues in this fund are from charges for services, and then intergovernmental funds basically are grants and any money we get from other municipalities or the university. The capital outlay in this fund is $2.8 million, and $2.2 million are basically for 3 projects. One is the Clemson Downs, but it's just to get started on that project. We really wanted to focus on finishing up the projects we have and then moving that one into 2028. Golden View Water is being paid for out of our bond proceeds from our water sewer bond we did in 2025. And the Sloan Poe water replacement is also being paid out of that bond proceeds. I was gonna say, any questions? I got Dusty here to answer. And then capital purchases is the hydro excavator, and it is a piece of equipment they need. In the sewer fund, again, primarily, the largest part of revenues are from charges for services, which would be your sewer bill. And then the other piece is a grant that we are getting to fund some projects you'll see on the next slide. Again, the rate study showed a 4% increase. The capital outlay and projects on this, in the sewer fund at $20.3 million. The pump station 5 and 7 with the interceptor is about an $8 million project. We've been given a $4 million grant to cover that. And then Mountain View and the Clemson wastewater, the capacity at the Pendleton Clemson wastewater treatment plant, those are being funded by the sewer and water bond that we did in 25. And then the other projects are ones that the sewer utilities department, have requested department. Stormwater, there is, we had a rate study done a couple years ago, and we are following that rate study, and the increase is of 15 cents for residential per month and 45 cents. But they are not doing any projects. We are doing a rate study, not a rate study,
Master plan.
Master plan, thank you. So to figure out what their needs are. The sanitation fund, this is residential and commercial. There are no sanitation rate increases being requested. The capital purchase is for a new front loader, which is on the residential side. So, and their operating expenditures are about a little more than $2 million. This is the slide I was alluding to. So based on that, if your home uses 5,000 gallons, your average bill will go up $4 a month. If you use less, then it will go up less than $4. If you use more, it'll go up a little more than $4. So that is the national average that all water system or utility systems use to base their bills on, is the 5,000 gallons. Transit. So CatBus, their primary revenues is what's called intergovernmental revenues, and they are basically grants and our
Contracts.
oh, thank you. But our partners, or the governmental side partners, is and then the charges for services would be what we charge the Pier and High Point for their piece. So, and they're not government, so they have it's a different little part of the pie chart. And their only capital request is a tire changer and a wheel balancer. Capital projects fund, we alluded, or I mentioned them earlier. So we have two major project funds, which are two projects. So the Art Center is $8.6 million. It is being funded from the hospitality, or the IPRB grant, that we did this fiscal year. And the Green Crescent Trail is being funded from $3 million in grant, and then also we've had some funds that we've been saving for this project. Overall, for the projects you can see, and purchases, meaning capital purchases, which would be equipment, is $51.3 million, and you can see by fund how those break out. all I have. If there are any questions?
I'll start off with a comment. Thank you very much. I've been fortunate to see it, and there's some others up here have seen it over the years, and the breakdown now, Leslie, is phenomenal. We appreciate it. It's very concise, shows the impact of what the proposed budget is, so thank the whole team. We greatly appreciate it. I don't know what the plan is on sharing this information after tonight on social, but I would get it out ASAP, whatever the plan is, but I will defer that to whoever. Okay, I won't point, but Ally will take. And the only last thing is not getting too far in the weeds. If everything gets approved, I would list those roads that are being paved in 26 and 27 when we list it, because I get asked that question a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
please, yeah, share that. That'd be great. So, yeah.
So part of our process this year, the CIP, ClearGov, which is to handle our budget book, is the software we use for our budget. We added a piece that is for construction in progress, and I'm sorry, it's our capital improvement plan. There are two acronyms for me. So our capital improvement plan, and in it, each project will be shown, and that's where I printed off to show the list. So it'll be out there for people to be able to see what each project is, where it is, and where the funding is coming from.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments for Leslie?
Leslie, you might have said this, the wonderful sample tax breakdown. What level house or property is that for?
A $200,000 house.
Okay, nice. I just wanted to say, the amount of activity we have happening in this city is unbelievable. We're very, very fortunate to have such a healthy budget. If you look at the projects that the staff is handling, all the benefits of the community, it's just shocking. I mean, in an impressive kind of way. All the planned, like, infrastructure, capital improvements, and then capital improvements to parks that we're gonna all see. So I don't know how that compares to past years, but it sure is a lot going on, and it's a lot. And we're very lucky to have a healthy financial ability to do all this stuff. So good job, y'all, for juggling it all.
I have a question for you, Leslie. Why a $200,000 house? Is that sort of like the 5,000 gallons? Because I would think it would be
Well, I can tell
a
you.
little
when I
bit
first-
different for the city of Clemson.
Well, you have different areas in town that, I mean, you have a lot of different prices. I know there's a lot that's higher and a lot that there are
Might be
some
lower,
lower.
yes.
So when I first got here, they used to use the 100,000, so
Okay.
we just
you answered
decided
it.
we would go to the 200, but I mean, we can
No.
Here's
literally
a
change it to anything.
Suggestion, take it for what it's worth, do 200, 400, just put slide by slide.
Well, I
And then
mean,
you'd have two
400
different-
would be double that.
I know, so that way you can at least, or 500.
That,
Exactly, thank you. I'm just trying to get comparisons in market.
realizes what you just said.
But, I mean, so.
If you show comparisons, that's the
No,
key.
no, I
So
get it,
if
yeah.
you do
It's just-
200 and 350, there we go.
The thing is, for this, we were
That would
just
not be
trying to
double.
give a good, a good example, so, yes, no, yeah, but 200,
But you have increased it, so that's the most important thing, is that y'all have changed it over the years. I was
yes.
just
And we probably
curiosity.
should increase it some, it's just, there are some in town that are below 200, so.
Right, and there's some that are, I'm just, right.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, Leslie, sorry.
If there are no other comments or questions for city council, we'll open it up to the public. And there were no comments submitted for, correct?
Stephanie Platt, Mountain View Lane. I was just wondering, did you say that the city was in debt? Or no?
Yes, we
Okay.
have,
Okay, why are we in debt? Just
well, I mean, no, I want, can I answer? or-
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
So, to do the projects that we do, you have to be in debt. And here's my, I guess, something I learned a long time ago is if you are not using debt to do projects, then your current citizens are paying for things that they may not ever get to, they won't get the benefit of. So if you spread that debt over time, then the current users of that project or that facility or that infrastructure, they're paying for what they're using.
But I'm just wondering, because you're getting all these fees from all these these student housing projects. I mean, I'm not understanding why we're in debt.
Well, I can tell you, just the sewer treatment plant alone, and the projects that we borrowed money for in 2025 for that was $30 million, and I think the sewer treatment plant was close to $20 million to be able to have an upgrade in the sewer treatment plant. That is our portion.
Thank you, Leslie.
And one more question.
Yes.
This paper statement fee, that you're proposing for like $1, I mean, is that per like sheet of like a statement, or what is that?
That's just $1 if you want a paper bill.
It's a monthly.
Per
It
month,
doesn't have to.
every statement you
It's
get.
not
It's
based
just,
on number of papers.
I think your bank does it, other bills does it, I think, at least mine do, yeah, if you want a paper.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Other questions or comments?
Oh, is this about that 201 project?
No, sir.
No.
This is actually about our budget right now, so that'll be later on in the agenda when we have a regular session. Yes, sir. This is about our proposed budget for this year and next year.
So, I have a question on the budget, I guess. I did some research on the smart meter, water meter reader things. And according to what I've learned, we don't need water meter readers anymore because these smart readers send the data straight to the water department via, I don't know how, whatever, but we still have, my mom and I were working out in the yard the other day and we noticed a leak in one of her sprinkler heads. So we go out to the yard. I was like, Mom, I know Dad had one of those little water thing turner off. So I found it and I go out to the front yard and I open it up and I turn it off, but I noticed those little smart meter things on there. Well, a little while later, I watched the billing department for the utilities come by and I'm like, why are they driving by? And I'm like, I didn't know that they were automatically fed to the City of Clemson billing department. I'm like, well, let me look this up. So I looked it up and I'm like, why do we have two people making $93,300 and some odd dollars? Why are we paying those people to do that if we don't need water meter readers anymore? So I'd really like to know about that. And also all this, the house that my mom and I live in is a 2,200 square feet house. And I don't know how much it's worth, but Leslie was talking about a $200,000 house being $504 or whatever, $1,260. So I did that. So my mom, if her house was worth $1 million, would be paying $6,082. But, she's not getting any extra services or anything. Why does she have to pay so much? Because I'm sure there's 2,200 square feet houses in Country Walk that aren't paying that much money. And also, my last comment is about grants. A grant is not free money. A grant is taxation without representation. go to the federal government with it is $39 trillion in debt and ask them for money on behalf of the city of Clemson, that means every person over the whole entire United States of America is paying for what y'all deem we need. And I say they probably don't want to pay for it.
Can I please address the grant?
How about let's answer the meter reader first?
Okay.
So let's, Dusty,
the
I'm gonna
meter
talk,
reader?
wait, real quickly, we're here, real quickly. Can you update us on checking in on the technology of the scanners and if you're
Hey,
comfortable?
Dusty.
You good with that? Yes,
How you
please.
doing?
Thank you.
So, the idea with the smart meters, of course, is to be able to send the reads and all that electronically through the air over the radio. The question that she had regarding the positions, they're not actually reading meters anymore. Now they're dealing with alarms and checking for leaks. Now these meters are telling us if anyone's tampered with it. They're also telling us if there's a high temperature alarm into the water. They're also telling us if there's a water leak on our side. They're also telling us if there's a water leak on the customer side. There's a lot more to these meters than what we've traditionally had in the past. So yes, they may not be doing the same traditional job as going out and reading a meter, but they are still different areas that they're taking and redoing with these meters.
So it could have been the leak that they were looking at, that reason
Checking.
why they were going by to check.
High usage, they could be going out and checking for it. They could have got an alarm sent to them for eating a bunch of different things from these meters.
Thank you.
Along
They are
with
smart
customer
meters.
service, just trying to notify the citizen that we detect a problem.
They've saved me a lot of money notifying me before.
Oh, yes,
so I
yes,
appreciate that very
yes, they have. They're smarter.
I know the second
than
thing
us.
was about the tax value of somebody's property. That's a Pickens County aspect,
It's just the way taxes are assessed is based on the market value of your home.
right?
It's a state law.
It's a state law. Yeah, thank you for adding that.
And I, with Ms. Gay, yes, grants are not free money. I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. It's our taxpayer money for the United States, especially, or for the state of South Carolina, or even our county that we get grants from. But if the state, the county, the United States is giving out these grants, why shouldn't we get them than someone else? We have every right to get these grants. It's taxpayer money. They're going to go to someone. Then why can't we get them and use them? Is the way I look at it.
Other comments from the budget aspect?
I got my walking stick today.
You good?
Well, that's a nice one, Nana.
How are y'all? Thank you.
I like that.
Take it to the dog park. Right here? How's everybody tonight?
Hey, Nana.
Awesome.
Doing all right.
I was just wondering, because I know a lot of people aren't aware of this, and the only reason I'm aware of it is because I do drive for Uber. I was wondering if Leslie could explain the TNC disbursement that the city gets from the regulatory office in Columbia, what that is, why we get it, and how much we get every year and where it goes to. I know it's in the general fund. I did see it listed, but how is it getting used? I was wondering if you could just explain that, because I'm sure a lot of people don't even know the existence of that.
You good? Yeah, we're good. You're good.
Thank you. It's just good information. Can I sit down now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, South Carolina and the municipalities were trying to figure out how to get business license from Uber and Lyft and those types of companies. And so the state and the municipal association, I think, was involved in this, because it was pre-me, so this is before I got here. And so they came to an agreement of, well, instead of each municipality charging a business license, they would come up with this formula that would then each city get their portion of the TNC, which is the transportation. I don't.
Network company.
Yes, okay, network company. So, and I know you probably know more about that part of it because of the business license side back when he was working in business license. So we get, it depends on the year, but we get $25,000, $30,000 a year, and it really just helps pay for the expenditures in the general fund. I mean, there's no set thing that it is required. It's just like business license and property taxes. It covers operating expenses in the general fund.
Thank you. Thank you. Other comments?
Hello, Rupert McGinty, 206 North Clemson Avenue. When I came in the door, the police officer said, "Hey, was that your house where the tree came down today on North Clemson?" I go, "No, that wasn't my house." But he said, "Well, 2 trees have come down, like in the last couple of days on North Clemson Avenue." Luckily, nobody was hit by that tree. And in the Shanklin Park area on the other side of North Clemson, not on the resident side, but on the park side. And those trees up there are getting to be about 130 feet tall, 100 feet tall. And, well, they need to be looked at because those trees could hurt somebody in a storm, especially. We had heavy rain, loosened up the soil, boom, the tree came down. 2 trees came down. And so I think there needs to be some type of initiative from someone to say, hey, we need to evaluate these trees, get Tony Tidwell out there, take a look at it, and say, yeah, that tree there, maybe it should come down. I know there's a tree like aimed at my house, and it'd be nice that that be dealt with.
Thank you. And that was, I mean, it does pertain to the budget because we do, thank you for bringing that up. So I'm looking at you.
We'll see if there's any in the public realm
Yep.
that need to be addressed.
Thank you.
Fell on Clarendon.
I saw that, yeah.
There's one that fell at Nettles Park last week and took out one of the athletic lines.
Thank you.
Trees are falling out everywhere.
I'm telling you.
Cats and dogs.
Other comments? And I'm just going to say, I'll put a comment out there myself that, I mean, we deviated a little bit on public comment tonight. We're very particular about our budget. Every year, we're very transparent. We want to make it clear and concise. Like I said, Leslie's team and everyone else within the city does a fabulous job presenting this. And we just want to make sure all the questions are answered. If you got questions, that's what we're here for. So we kind of deviated a little bit. But it never got to what I said, where it was a debate or argument between people. So we didn't go too far. So thank you. I appreciate that. If there are no other comments, it's the last chance, and this is in reference again to the proposed budget for fiscal year 26 or 27. Okay, I'm going to close out. We'll take a 5-minute break.
Give us 10.
Give us 10? Okay.
What time is
We'll
it?
go with 10. Hey, listen,
6:15.
I'm good. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. It is 6:10. We'll start back. We'll reconvene at 6:20. So I'm just waiting for
Take your time.
Good? Okay. All right, we'll call this regular city council meeting this June 1st of 2026 to order. Like I said at the public hearing, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Got to enjoy some nice temperatures this past weekend. So we'll start off with the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Councilmember Smith.
Good evening. You're welcome to join me in prayer. Please join me in a moment of reflection and inspiration as we begin tonight's meeting. Let us pause to recognize the responsibility entrusted to those who serve this community. May we lead with wisdom, humility, and integrity as we consider the decisions before us. Help us to listen respectfully, speak thoughtfully, and work collaboratively for the good of all residents. May we remember that every action taken in this chamber impacts families, neighborhoods, businesses, and the future of our city. Grant us the courage to pursue what is just, the patience to navigate differences with civility, and the compassion to ensure every voice is valued and heard. We also extend gratitude to our city staff, first responders, volunteers, and community members whose daily efforts strengthen this city and support the well-being of others. As we conduct the business of this meeting, may our work reflect unity, accountability, and a shared commitment to progress and service. We ask for these blessings in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is a proclamation for the National Gun Violence Awareness Day, which is June 5th. Whereas every day 125 people in America are killed by gun violence and hundreds more are shot or wounded with an average of more than 18,000 gun homicides every year. Whereas gun violence also shapes the lives of the millions who witness it, know someone who is shot or who lives in fear of the next shooting. Whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. Whereas South Carolina averages more than 1,000 gun deaths every year with a rate of 18.96 deaths per 100,000 people, a crisis that costs the state $14 billion each year and places the state 7th in the highest rates of gun deaths in the U.S. Whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories. Whereas mayors, law enforcement officers, in partnership with city councils and partnerships with local violence intervention and resources know their communities best, are the most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. Whereas by wearing orange during the weekend of June 5th through 7th coming up, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfager, Mayor of the City of Clemson, do hereby proclaim June 5th, 2026 to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day and encourage all citizens to support their local community's efforts to promote responsible gun ownership and prevent the tragic effects of gun violence, to honor and value human lives. And witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and have the cause the great seal of the city to be affixed this first day of June 2026. Is there somebody here from the organization? Yes, ma'am. Please. You're more than welcome to come up. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I should have noticed the shirts, so thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no. Yes, ma'am. I'm glad both of y'all are here.
We don't have a proclamation to make. We just want to say thank you for that proclamation. I did bring some materials. We are all about secure storage in homes and vehicles and promoting safety for children and vulnerable teens. And we thank you for that proclamation.
Do you mind introducing yourselves real quickly?
Sure. I'm Nancy Lale, and this is Lori. And we work with Be Smart for Kids. And we support all the amendments, and we do support strongly secure storage.
Appreciate it. We've seen you at different community activity and events, so thank you very much.
Yes, we are out in the community as much as any place we can find that will let us come and either give a presentation or give out information. We are there.
We will give you a copy.
Thank you. May I leave this with?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
very much.
Would you like to picture with the city council? Does that help your efforts? I mean, it's up to you.
Your efforts help, so thank
That's
you.
perfect. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, thank you. Okay, next is public session, and I will turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Now we're going to open the floor for public comments about anything that is not on the agenda. I know we have folks here to comment on one of the agenda items about the proposed development. We do want to make sure that you have time to be heard when we get to that agenda item so that it's part of the conversation, top of mind. So at this time, we're going to open the floor for public comment about anything that's not on the agenda. These comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and we just ask that you please sign in over here with Jeremiah before you approach the podium. Jeremiah, does anybody sign in ahead of time?
Is this for earlier?
No, this is for the.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Platt signed in ahead of time, so we'll have her come up first.
And there is,
Yes, for public comment.
and then and if anybody needs any ADA devices, Jeremiah has them. I won't say always forget, but I sometimes have a tendency, but please, they're up there by Jeremiah, just FYI, so thank you.
Hi, Ms. Platt, sorry.
That's okay. Stephanie Platt, Mountain View Lane. I just wanted to know, what's an appropriate amount of time to give like a city staff member to answer like an email or question? Because I submitted a question to the city engineer, and that was on 5/18, and I have not heard anything, from him. So I was just wondering what an appropriate time is to expect an answer.
We'll ask if they follow up.
I'll follow up.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Platt.
Thank you.
Were there any additional signups, Jeremiah?
No, just that.
Okay, so the floor is open for the public. Give it a few more seconds. And just for everybody here, we did not have any comments submitted via the MyCivic app for this part of the meeting, so I don't have anything to read. Okay, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you very much. Next is the possible approval of minutes from May 18th, 2026. I know I always look at Jeremiah. This first meeting I've missed in a long time. I could still vote, right?
We had a lot of fun without you.
That's why, yeah. I did watch it, so since I wasn't here. All right, so would somebody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Next, we'll go into reports and discussions, 2-minute limit per speaker. First is to discuss endowment and nonprofit support. Andy.
What we have is the proposal that y'all have been discussing about taking money and creating a community action fund for it to primarily assist people or projects that qualify for low to moderate income. You have an endowment piece of this, which will take some time to grow. And in the meantime, we have put $80,000 in the budget for you to start doing projects and responding to people. And Allie's looking at me weird, but she doesn't know we changed stuff in the 2 weeks she was gone. So I hear you. So the idea is to start the endowment with $250,000. 5% of that annually will be available for gifts, and then contributing to it over time. So you will have your $80,000 plus another $10,000 or $12,000 actually available. That's the endowment piece. So then you're going to end up taking, one-time contributions and having a rotating fund that is sustainable. So you'll always have money to help people out with. The other piece is the sponsorship and nonprofit support piece. Well, nonprofit support. There's $50,000 that's going to be given to the community foundation, and then nonprofits who do good work in Clemson can go to them, and they have money to allocate to them to support the nonprofits.
Questions or comments for Andy? All right, from the public. All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. I'll go into the next agenda item, discuss an agreement between Clemson University and the City of Clemson for CAT bus transportation services in fiscal year 2027. Brian.
Brian.
Came
Hello,
on up.
everyone.
Yes, sir.
How are you today?
All right, how you
How about
doing?
you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, I have 4 contracts I'm gonna present to you guys quickly. One of them's a combo, contract that will be, our services that we offer for July the 26th, starting July 26th and ending in June, 2027. So July 2026 to June 2027. We went up on our rates, 106.50 per hour. And so our service contracts kind of fall in this order. We have Core, which is the Pier, and High Point. They're combos. The service days that they both receive is 184. The service hours are 2,841. And the Saturday Express of 70 hours for 7 weeks, that's the game. The total contract is 216,525. And that would be for both of them. The next is the town of Pendleton. The town of Pendleton has service days of.
Brian, can I interject real quick? You were saying 216, I see 219. I know this, just to make sure we're seeing the same numbers. I see 219 up there. I know you started with High Point and Pier. I know you started with High Point.
Up there.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure, clarify. So.
Should be, I have 216 on my paperwork, but I'll double check that contract.
It'll be whatever is in the contract. This could be a typo.
Okay, that's what I was, okay. So that is the 216 then on that contract, okay.
219, 252.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is.
So it is in it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You got it right up there. I typed it wrong.
And for everybody real quickly, Brian, I'm just sorry. I know I'd started out with Clemson University's.
So let me put the.
Yeah, we're starting out for the Pier.
Let me go in your order.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
All
fine.
right, since it's up there.
Yeah.
No problem. The next will be the town of Central. All right, in the town of Central, we should have, the service hours for them at 132. I'm sorry, at 1210 service days, 132. There should be 104,796. Is correct? All right. Again at 106.50. The next one that we're gonna do will be the town of Pendleton. They included a small addendum of some contract things that they wanted us to add, and we did. So they're gonna have 251 days. Service hours is 3,179. The contract amount should be 169,282. Matching up there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Look, you got me looking now. And lastly, we have the university. I'm not gonna even give you, the university has over 10,000 hours, so we're not gonna really go through that, but their contract total amount is gonna be $1,056,106.50.
Brian, is everybody's hourly rate the same?
You have 160.50. Why is everyone's hourly rate the same?
Or is it?
It is.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Let me just double check and make sure that because I quick typed that, so I would. So as you quick type fat finger, make sure our numbers match.
The rate's just a simple calculation. It's the operating budget, it's the cost for the year for total bus divided by the service hours that the buses run.
So that's my question. This might.
And that is 160. 160 is
Yeah, that's what you got.
So of our total cat bus budget, does this cover just those hours, or does this help subsidize Clemson's cat bus hours? Do you see what I'm saying?
It does not subsidize their hours, but the sticker price is $106.50. But we don't charge $106.50. We only charge 50% of that because we use our federal grants to knock it down.
I mean, I wouldn't think it would be a bad thing if it was subsidized, Clemson. I'm not saying that would be, I was just curious if it did.
Clemson actually subsidizes CAT, to be honest with you. They're the ones who pay the local match for our capital. Our other partners have not been contributing to buses.
The university.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so they said, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bryant, you said it went up to 106.50 and 50 cents. What was it?
It was 90.36.
So it's a nice little increase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Significant increase. Good enough, you know,
Well,
but we still need more.
everything's gone, yeah, okay. Understood. Just curious. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Any questions, comments? And we'll take each one, but first let me open it up to the public. Brian? Yeah, yes, sir. Would anybody have any comments? We're talking about all five here, but we are gonna talk about each individual one. Will we? Yeah, so yeah, B as a boy, F as in Frank, I guess. So yes, any comments from the public? Okay, if not, would somebody like to make a motion on the Clemson University?
It's just discussion.
Oh, it's just discussion, that's right, never mind.
Next
I'm missing a meeting, I'm missing a meeting, and I'm like, just keep on going, yeah.
Thank you.
I don't have jet lag.
That's no excuse.
I know, no excuse. Thank you, Brian. You just covered all five, thank you very much. Next is staff reports. Andy.
I'm going to invite interim fire chief Tevin Christianberry up to do the fire department's annual report.
I love the fire truck.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate being here tonight. I'd like to highlight some of our annual report. This is the very first time we've completed an annual report. And so we sort of look at it in terms of a calendar year. And so we always appreciate y'all's support. You guys are great partners and provide lots of funding for us. So we appreciate that. If you look at page 9, we added the QRV to serve the city of Clemson, a quick response vehicle with a paramedic. It started in March of 2025, and we have run 1,471 calls since that time. And also on that same page, we held our first EMT course. The pre-hospital education program is taught in-house to Clemson students. And the first class graduated in April 2025, and since then we've had a couple more classes, and we have a current class going on now, and they meet in the community room at the fire station on Monday mornings. On page 16, we have started the, we have a dedicated person for community risk reduction. We've attended 68 events, reaching 7,236 local residents. This includes preschools, schools, churches, the farmers market, and other events across the city of Clemson. And then shifting gears on page 20, just so you guys are aware, in terms of the breakdown, specifically in terms of the increase in call volume from 2024 to 2025, we saw a 21.2% increase in calls from 1 year. I think a lot of that had to do with the QRV. And so we're going to continue to monitor that. Any questions?
We appreciate you being here. Thank you for the recap as well. It's well done.
Nice annual report, very nice, yes.
I probably shouldn't bring up this, but just FYI, City of Clemson square miles, it's not on you, but it's a little less than 11.8, just FYI. It's for next year, for next time. There we go.
Also, if you come by the fire station on Isaquina, our new rescue truck that the university purchased is in the bay. We've not outfitted it yet, because we're still in the process of buying some equipment, but it's inside the building. So you can start seeing it driven around the city here in about 2 weeks, because next week is going to the convention in Myrtle Beach for the Firefighters Conference. So when it comes back, we start doing some driver training on it, and it's painted just like the engine with the orange. And so yes.
We also appreciate you putting our logo on one of them, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Very first time.
Other-
Nice.
Mr. Jackson has something.
the annual meeting for MASC is coming up, as well as the lottery, so we got 13 ballots up for 6, so we'll be doing that in 2 weeks, so you need to get, some of you guys want to go before the next council meeting. I'll send out an email with the forms everywhere.
It's in Greenville, correct? Of course, we got high when it's local. Always late.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, next we'll move into policy action. It's a 2-minute limit per speaker. First is consider second reading to repeal the ordinance in section 711, expenditures purchasing receiving with an effective date of July 1 of 2026. Leslie, you're back.
Yes, so we are asking you to consider the second reading to repeal that section of the ordinance to be effective July 1 so that you can hopefully approve the procurement policy that's later on the agenda.
Questions or comments for Leslie? From the public? Somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion to repeal the ordinance in section 7-11, expenditures purchasing and receiving with an effective date of July 1, 2026.
Second.
Jeremiah, you got either one? So, all right, comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. I don't know why, Leslie, you're back and forth here. Next is consider first reading of ordinance to adopt the fiscal year 2027 operating budget.
Yes, so the millage would be set at 92.9, and of course, any amendments that affect the departments have to be approved, meaning between departments would have to be approved by council, and anything within the departments can be approved by city administrator, and that is with 7 new full-time positions. And they get rate increases.
Thank you. Comments?
As always, thank you for making it very easy to understand and laying it out for us the way that you do.
I have lots of help.
Yes, well, thank you guys all,
Thank
all
you
of
all.
them.
Team effort.
Thank your team, yes.
Mhm.
Comments from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the first reading of an ordinance to adopt the fiscal year 2027 operating budget as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next, we'll consider first reading of a proposed plan development 201 Pine Street. Nathan.
Good evening, council. I won't take any of your time except to turn it over to the developer who's here to, with a short presentation to answer some of the questions that were brought up at the last meeting.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Hanley. I am an architect with LJC on the design side of this project, and next to me is Sam Williams. Sam is Director of Investments for CRG, our client. I would be remiss to not mention that he is also an alum of Clemson. With us today on the development side is JJ Smith and Brian Grigger, both with CRG. We have Zach Britton, who is with 53 Group, the co-developer of this project. We also have Rena Lamb and Aaron Falkenmeyer, both with the design team. So thank you very much for your time today. We thought actually it would be the best use of everyone's time to go through kind of the homework that we got from the last time when we were here, and also to hit on some of the themes that we heard listed here on this slide in terms of the questions that we fielded that we wanted to just circle back and really sort of clarify some things. So Sam is going to start by talking about the demand for purpose-built student housing, specifically in this city. He is then going to turn it back over to me. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the due diligence that we did to look at some other sites in the same district. There were a lot of questions that were asked about the condo parcel, so we're going to dig in just a little bit and explain what the plan is for that part of the parcel. And then we're going to just bring up the traffic study one more time just to dot our I's and cross our T's. One of the things I think is important that we're going to do at the end of this is go back through some of the major changes that we made during the Planning Commission process. So that is what we'll end with. Next slide, please.
Great. So look, I think over the next few slides, what I'm going to try to lay out, coming out of the last council meeting is, two main points. One, why do we believe that Clemson needs more purpose-built student housing? And then two, why do we believe that it should be walkable to campus? So I think first and foremost, I just would like to point out this headline topic here. Our analysis of the Clemson market is that today, the Clemson student housing market is full. It is very highly occupied. And this can have from our perspective, some material impacts on the larger community. It can displace families and long-term renters. It can drive up rents across the broader market. And it can concentrate students in areas where they're typically not supposed to be, or it is not designed for them. And then I also just wanted to define what purpose-built student housing is to us. So for us, it's modern, professionally managed apartment communities that are specifically designed for students. And it has some material benefits. And if we can go to the next slide, please. I think, number one for us is walkable to campus. It reduces traffic, parking demand, and car-related strain on city infrastructure. The buy-the-bed leases, meaning you sign a lease for your bedroom, not for the whole apartment, protects both the students and the parents. The on-site management security provides a lot of accountability to the students. The modern construction, there's a lot of fire and life safety components that these newer buildings have advantages over. And then the concentration of students in designated sort of communities versus pushing them out into the larger city. It also generates property tax revenue for the city. Next slide, please. So from a demand perspective, we just tried to put together a very high-level chart of this is how we see the student housing demand and enrollment at Clemson today. So there's about 29,545 students. Today, there's about 14,000 purpose-built student housing beds. So that leaves 15,000 students without purpose-built student housing. There are quite a few beds under construction, about 2,700. So that will leave, after those deliver, there'll still be 12,000 students without access to dedicated purpose-built student housing. Next slide, thank you. And then this is really amplified when you look at it from a walkability perspective. So today, and I do want to just point out a quick correction, on the table on the left, if you add up the 7661 and the 8137, you get to that 9498. So it's about 10 beds off, excuse me, but I just wanted to point that out. So today there's about 9,498 walkable purpose-built student housing beds in the market. So that leaves 1 in 3 students with access to walkable purpose-built student housing. And the demand for that type of housing is very, very evident to us. On-campus occupancy rates for the 2025-2026 academic year were 97%, and off-campus pedestrian occupancy rates were 99%. So a 97% blended average occupancy rate across that subset. So that's really our interpretation of the supply and demand fundamentals and the housing context today, and I'm gonna hand it back over to Michael to talk a little bit about the site.
So next slide. One thing we wanted to do is really talk about, well, with all the questions of why not closer to 93, why not put the density closer to campus, one of the things that the design and development team did during the planning commission process was take a step back. We said, all right, well, what does this really look like if we pivoted to another site? Next slide, please. If you all are very familiar with the Clemson Next Plan, which shows that this current site is at the in the zone that is described in the white paper as grow at the seams, right? But if you go to the next slide, there is a couple of sites identified in the white paper that we wanted to take a closer look at. If you zoom in from site number 1 there, it's actually 2 sites, site A and site B. And this is really where we wanted to dig in and say, okay, is it really possible for us to pivot at this point and do an assemblage on a different site? So if you go to the next slide. Site A here is one everyone's very familiar with, it's Tiger Park. The thing to know, the main punchline with this site is to know that it's encumbered with multiple long-term parking sale agreements. So it would be very, very difficult to negotiate out of those, or it would take a very long time. We did actually look at the Tiger Woods condos just to see if that was a possibility. But with condos having to negotiate with individual owners, it seems like a very tough hill to climb. So if you go to the next slide, Similar story was Site B, right? So this assemblage includes the Clemson Church of Christ on the far, what would that be, west, and then on the east is the South Carolina Baptist Convention, and the thing to know about that organization is that they just recently moved there. We thought, again, that they would not be interested in negotiating, let alone negotiating with all the rest to form that assemblage. So, the condo parcel. For those unfamiliar, the condo parcel we're talking about is actually item C in the southwest corner of the site that you see here. If you go to the next slide. We thought, let's zoom into that southwest corner and actually talk about what's happening in that corner. The main takeaway with this is that there is some existing infrastructure that we are intentionally tying into. In fact, our stormwater management plan sort of hinges on being able to tie into the existing underground detention tank, which you can kind of see under the parking lot there at the HOA, as well as the existing drainage easement, and that's the whole reason why the building actually can't be built over that. So the question of why this parcel, basically it comes down to stormwater management is the answer. Oh, sorry, one other thing on that guy. The individual condo is going to remain just operating as an HOA, or part of the HOA. That's what the black square is in the corner there, right? Keep going. Traffic study. Again, we'll try not to belabor it, except that I know some folks asked about when it was done, and so we went back and we said, when was this done? And it was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday, both in the morning rush hour and the evening rush hour. And the result of both versions of the traffic study that we did, both when the building was bigger and right size down to 555 beds, was that it had no significant impact on any of the major intersections around. Next slide, please. Mr. Mayor, this might be more for you than anyone because I know you weren't here the last time, but what we wanted to do was basically summarize where we were and where we ended up in terms of the planning commission process, right? So along Hedgerow, we went from 7 to 3 levels, and then gradually stepping back up, as you'll see in some diagrams. We went from 725 beds to 555 beds. 205 spaces are now what we are offering for residents. That does not include the 31 spaces for retail parking. And it is worth noting as well that we moved the hedgerow front back about 14 feet to give a more gracious buffer to the northern frontage of the property, if you go to the next slide. So what you're seeing here is both the original proposal and the current proposal in terms of the elevation looking west from Pine Street. And you can see again how we intentionally scaled down the building to the point that we thought it was more akin to like a townhome scale on the hedgerow side. If you go to the next slide, you can see the side-by-side comparison of the before and after in terms of what you would see from the corner of Pine and Hedgerow. And that's the most significant change to the project. It is also worth noting from the left to the right what the existing condition is on Hedgerow versus the proposed condition, burying power lines, getting rid of the guardrail, and then you can see the plantings that we're proposing to sort of create a buffer zone between the existing neighbors and the new property. We are happy to answer any questions, and we appreciate your time today.
I have a question. Can you explain if that townhome, the condo, I guess you're calling it, is included? Is the intention to, is it owned just by a private individual right now? Or are all of those condos owned by one person currently?
It's owned by a private individual.
So you would be purchasing it from them to include here?
Yes.
Okay, so would that condo then be leased through the same leasing office that is managing the larger parcel, or what would be the plan with that small condo?
Yeah, the decision hasn't ultimately been made. I think ideally the manager of the building would live there, so it provides them an opportunity to live close to the project. And we would sort of contribute it as that. That would probably be the goal.
Okay.
But no decision has been made on if we were to lease it externally, how we would do so.
Okay. That was the only thing that has come up since last time. Thank you.
I have a very strange question, so please just bear with me. Is it Sam?
It is.
You're a Clemson grad, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, where did you live while
I
you were a
live
student?
at 114 Earl,
Earl.
So you're a
So
recent
you
grad.
were,
2022.
Yeah, you're a
okay,
recent
so
grad.
were you, is that walkable?
Yes.
So did you choose it because it was walkable?
I'm happy to give you some context about my student housing experience here.
Please,
So-
I'm curious to hear.
After my freshman year, I was new to Clemson, didn't understand how, renting off-campus housing worked. So me and my freshman year roommates said, we gotta go find somewhere to live. And we tried to find a place downtown and couldn't find one. So I came to Clemson looking for, the college town experience. I want to be close to campus. I'm from the Northeast. So really came to Clemson. Obviously, it's a special place to me and really wanted to be able to walk to campus and walk to the downtown and enjoy sort of the robust campus experience that's offered here. Ultimately, didn't get to enjoy that my sophomore year after living on campus and moved to Epic. And had to take the bus and, not be a part of the game day and sort of cultural experience that you get from being downtown. And then next year I was on it and got into Earl and never left and wanted to be as close to campus as possible.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, I do have a question because I asked for the data, and based off of what you shared, I think that's just more of a general point of view in terms of the number of beds, because that number is our total enrollment, and so you're not. I don't think that number takes in consideration that some of those numbers are not including our students who live throughout the state of South Carolina, our graduate student population, and also our online student population. But also, I'm considered a student, and so I'm part of that number. And so really that number is much lower than what you have listed to say that many students are looking for housing, particularly downtown. So that number is not accurate. So that's why I was trying to find out what data you were using to share that with us, to say this is what you're seeing and this is what the metrics are talking about. So that's why I wanted that information. So that was that, because what you're providing is more general. So do you have something that's more in-depth that looks at what our actual student population is in the city of Clemson?
So, Councilwoman Smith, do you have the numbers that you can give them if that's not the numbers you want?
Because the reason I'm asking for that.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you have a number in mind.
I wanted to see what information they were providing, and that's a general. That's what most people provide, and so they don't necessarily provide the true number of population. So, in essence, our total undergraduate population that would probably need housing is about 15,000 students.
The Charlotte Observer cites roughly 92% of Clemson University's population lives off campus here.
That's accurate. I'm saying they live off campus, but his metric said that 19,000 students needed.
Well, it'd just be 92% of the number on the top.
No, but
that's what Charlotte
This is
Observer
from Fulmer,
referred to.
Councilman Fulmer, excuse me.
So it'd be smaller, but
no, this is total enrollment growth is 29,000. That doesn't mean 29,000 are here in Clemson.
But that's what Mr. Doug said.
No, that's not what he said.
That's from him.
and 92% of them live here.
I'm trying to help everyone understand.
Yeah. But 8% difference is what we're talking about.
Can I finish my question without interruption? I didn't interrupt you all.
I didn't interrupt you.
But I was trying to ask them the question, so I would
Go back to
appreciate it.
Sorry, excuse me, apologize.
So do you have something a little bit more in-depth in terms of the actual numbers of students who reside in the city of Clemson?
I do not have hard data points on how many students reside in the city of Clemson. What I do know is that when we analyze a market like this, we say to ourselves, there's a 29,000 potential renter pool. So 29,000 of those students, they're going to choose to do what they want to do. Our job is ultimately to, show them that this is the right experience for them and this is going to be a product type that's going to enhance their lives as a college student. And you know, I would be surprised if that number was much lower than showed there, but I don't have anything. I have never seen anything that suggests that that the majority of those students do not live in the city of Clemson.
I'm happy to get the numbers for you all, so you have that information. I'll be able to
Thank
share
you.
that information.
Thank you. That way we will be reading out the same hymn book, same hymn, same verse.
Other questions, council? All right, we'll open it up to the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have a sign? No one? Okay. All right. Just a reminder, please sign in.
Hello, I'm Karen Frady, representing the SO Club. Thank y'all for listening to me at the last meeting and doing something about my water. I appreciate it more than you know. But let's talk about that traffic study again. Are you gonna make them do a real traffic study? Are we going to make them do it when the kids are here and seeing what is being put on that side of town? Or what about the traffic, foot traffic? They want, again, 500 beds, 200 parking places. Where's all this foot traffic? You know, they can't cross 93 because that's like a speedway down through there, you know? So that's my thing. Also, my thing is, you know, being a resident here and working here and all that, these people put y'all here, not the students. But we keep hearing Clemson and the students and the students. What about the residents of this town? What about the businesses of these towns? Does anybody ever stop and think about us? You know, and then we just get, you know, like I told you, I watched the traffic study go up, I watched it go down. It went up when the kids left to go home, and it come down before they came back. To me, that's false, and they should be made accountable to do another one and see what kind of traffic is really here when these students are here. Because to get out at the SO Club anymore and to take a left to go downtown is impossible. Impossible, because that traffic's sitting right in front of the SO coming back to that neighborhood. Because everybody already knows the cut through to avoid campus. And then you're gonna put all these other cars back there. And it's just gonna be chaos. And I just, you know, the families, they don't have a chance back there with all this traffic. So, thank you.
Thank you.
How y'all doing?
All right.
My name is Charles Usher, I own the SO Club. I've been here 23 years. I came to this town, got the SO going where it is, gives y'all lots of tax money. I bought the house I did 20-something years ago, dropped over almost $400,000 in the house, remodeling, gutted, did it all. Now you want to put that in front of my, right in my front yard. I like my front porch. I like looking at the sky. I don't want to see the side of a building. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe, I mean, if y'all live on Pine Street, come on over there. Y'all can see. I live with those kids now, and I deal with them all the time. Now you're gonna drop in another, how many more beds up in there? And then all of a sudden, I love this theory of the parking. You ain't got no parking. You got 100-something spaces for kids that are coming in here. So you gonna tell me these kids gonna walk to the CVS, the Publix and all that? Ain't happening. They coming. The cars are coming. So you might as well go and take this parking, no parking on them sidewalks down there, because they gonna park it. I see that truck every day going up and over into that apartment complex. They snatch them all the time. So I choose to live in Clemson. I can live in Greenville. I can live in Florida, another house I own. But no, I choose to live here because I like the town. But where's the madness stop on these condos? Downtown, I care less. Y'all can build them all the way up, all the way to the president's house. I don't care. But once again, like she said, this is Clemson City, not Clemson University. The student problem is a university problem. They got the land. They can build their own condominiums and whatever else they want to. I appreciate your time, and I hope y'all do the right decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name's Lauren Crouch. I own 104 Fulcher Street, one of the properties directly behind this PD. I am the fourth generation of my family to actually get an opportunity to live in this neighborhood. I'm a mom to two little boys, a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old. And I want to thank all my neighbors who've all spoke up in the last meetings to the point and brought up this point, but I wanted to put a face to the young family that you're putting this in their backyard. This is my backyard. I'm talking one-way street splitting us. These units will have a direct line of sight into my yard and into my home, into my kids' windows. Their bedrooms are up there and it will look directly into it. The height drawing, it matches perfectly into there. If this was your house, would you want this in your backyard? You wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. You were elected by these very people to be our voice, and we haven't wavered through the whole planning process, through this whole process. We don't want this. There's so many other places you could put it, and there's so many other things you could put here that would make more sense, but this is a historic neighborhood. I actually lived in Pinehurst when I was in college. I was the first group of tenants in there, and it got busy. It got busy fast. And now you're wanting to put 5 times that in this little tiny square, and it's wild. This being 3 stories on the back and then stepping up as it goes towards campus means I'll never be able to see over it. I'll never be able to look past this building. It'll dwarf the neighborhood. I love Clemson, love the students. I graduated from there. But why are we gonna ruin the historical residential areas for this? They aren't here for almost 5 months of the year. It's empty, it's dead. The businesses we're gonna have to support them. No one else is going to. The university's in debt, cutting programs and stipends every day. So why would the city keep putting all of its resources and improvements for students and not its residents? You're also wanting to vote on an overlay on our neighborhood and to pretend you're trying to protect us, but pushing that thing behind me is not right. Just because you add brick to it doesn't mean it blends in with the neighborhood and the surrounding areas. We're separated by a one-way street, and also I know someone can grant me 2 minutes, but I'm gonna keep going. Separated by one-way street.
I will ask council if they'd like to extend the time, so that'll be up to council at this point. Yes, ma'am.
I would suggest if you want to come back up at the end for the additional 2 minutes, that way we can hear from everybody who's in attendance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name's Chris Shelnut, live at 100 Dogwood Drive. Clemson alumni, been here off and on for about 30 years. Supporter of the city of Clemson, supporter of Clemson University. But I've heard both sides of everything. I've been to the planning commission, some of that stuff I don't agree with, but they went ahead and sent it to you guys. But I do continue to ask this question, is what does 400 more beds do for the city of Clemson residents? Nobody's ever answered that. It does nothing for the residents. It does absolutely nothing, but it's gonna create a lot of turmoil, gonna create more traffic. I've lived in my residence for 9 years and I've watched Wigginton turn into 85 because it's a cut through and it's gonna continue to be a cut through. And traffic studies, I don't care what you do. I mean, you can redo them. It doesn't matter. I see it. I see no one stopping. I see my neighbor post his funny signs all the time about cameras watching people. I mean, I watch them fly through the 3-way stop. And that's gonna get even worse because you're gonna put more in a neighborhood. It's in a neighborhood. That is a historic neighborhood. That's why I moved there. Because that was one piece of Clemson that I thought would be preserved. But it's encroaching now. If you let this one, where does it stop? When is it gonna stop? They're on the main streets right now. Moda's there. You got another city called the Hub over there. That's fine. There's more beds. Those were not in that study, by the way. Those numbers were not there. And I know my wife's a professor at Clemson, and I know it's declining. The student population is declining there. So you can say we need more walkability, things like that. Trust me, I walked from under the trestle. I lived at Riverbanks and I walked to campus. I walked to downtown. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Ferry, and I live at 220 Strawberry Lane. That's my daughter speaking. And I have to tell you how discouraged I am that I encouraged. I was thrilled that she was going to have the opportunity to purchase, which is very rare, let me let you know, a place in that historic neighborhood. To raise 2 children, and to find that you're going to put this large building with all these folks in there. And all I hear, I've been listening to the meetings, watching the meetings if I can't come, and all I hear is students. It's all about students. What about the residents? What about us? We want to be walkable. We want to be walkable and safe. We want our children to be able to walk and ride bikes on the street and do what this city has been themed for. The university has its own ethical responsibility. If you want to increase enrollment, you increase housing. It's not the city, as someone said, I know we're not supposed to repeat, but you're the city council. You're not the university. The university has to find responsibility. They are today, as we all said, in debt. I know for a fact, because I have a life membership of a family member, they're not fulfilling their contracts. They're not fulfilling their rents that they have promised for graduate students. And we also need to think about that. As they said, they're declining. But one thing was interesting. We're talking about not enough beds, but and then we're talking about it's walkable. But the other day in one of the meetings, Nathan, it's mentioned that some member or person said they were concerned about the housing that was not on campus if you moved everything walkable. What would happen to those that were worried about behaviors or activities could occur? And you mentioned that those housing would potentially be turned into single-family homes at different levels. So is there really a deficit if you're going to take those old housing and turn them into new?
Thank you, thank you.
Hi, my name is Cece Bates. I live at 149 Folger Street. I've lived downtown for 18 years. During the invocation, Ms. Smith mentioned that the decisions made by the council impact families and neighborhoods, and I felt like the invocation and the statement you made tonight couldn't be more fitting as this decision comes before the council. The decision you make tonight about a 7-story building that will be built up against a one-way alley will certainly impact families and our neighborhood, a downtown historic neighborhood. If you vote yes, your decision will be to tear down a development that's barely 10 years old, a 96-bed development that currently sits on less than 2 acres of land. A vote of yes signifies that you approve the developer cobbling together a 0.19 acre parcel from a neighboring development so that the 2-acre minimum can be met. The 555 students who will fill these beds will go to 123. They'll eat at Chick-fil-A, which I'm sure is great for business. They'll go to the new Dutch Brothers. But most likely to get down to 123, they'll come down Folger or North Clemson Avenue and to the intersection where the fountain is, where they'll meet up with the students that are housed in the new developments that are being built. And that increased traffic will put a strain not only on that intersection, but on the narrow streets that are mostly void of sidewalks leading up to the exit from our neighborhood. 2 of the most recently elected members, I went back and looked at the campaigns that you ran when you were running for city council, said you would have voted against the hub. It didn't say why, but my guess is that you also have concerns about the development. So I'm hoping tonight that you'll remember those campaign promises and you'll think about the strain on the infrastructure that this puts on the neighborhood. For these and many other reasons, I respectfully ask you to vote no on the proposal at 201 Pine Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Paul Bowen. I live at 215 Strawberry Lane, and once again, we get to come before City Council and talk about development. You know, I want to applaud the developers for, first of all, doing homework. Seems like to me a lot of information was presented kind of late. There are right now 2,700 plus beds being constructed. Do we really need 500 more? I just don't think there's going to be the need for that bed. Plus you add, there are 500 right across the county line on Oconee on 123. So that's 3,000 plus beds. Now those aren't walkable. Do we really need, are we going to have the need for those? I'm on the advisory board for the School of Civil Engineering and Environmental Engineering. The chief financial officer for the university presented facts that they are concerned about meeting enrollment in the coming years, meeting their growth targets. That of the 10 states that feed the university the most students, 8 of them have declining high school graduate populations. Where are they going to get the students? Why are we going to need this? There's been a lot mentioned about this historic area. What's going to happen during construction? Narrow streets, construction, building a big building in a neighborhood that's historic and residential. Developers talked about, they looked at some other places, and it was going to be difficult to build it. So they chose an easy way. They chose to pick on residents, and we're counting on you to protect the residents. Thank you.
My name's Darren Bates. I live at 149 Folger Street. I seriously doubt that you've come to this meeting today not knowing how you're going to vote. Unfortunately, I might be disappointed. This is not just about Pine Street. This is about North Clemson. It's about Wigginton. It's about Oak Street. It's about Folger Street. When you continually rezone these areas as planned development, you're artificially inflating real estate values throughout the town. All you have to do is look at a tax map. You'll see the owners of parcels that have been accumulated in these areas, and the names will be quite familiar to you. With every rezoning of a PD, now this is outside the area of Clemson Avenue, which was designed to be high density. I get that. That's part of the plan. That's part of the Clemson Next plan. This area is clearly outside that area. It's zoned RM4. It was never to be zoned PD. And when you zone it PD, these developers, just like the gentleman said before, they're going to pick the path of least resistance, and they're going after residents, and they're going to throw enough money and enough residents to put together parcels to get rezoned as PD and add student housing. I don't know when it became my responsibility to provide a quality college experience for students. When I went to college, it was kind of my responsibility. So I'm going to ask you today to vote no, not just to Pine Street, because if you vote yes for Pine Street today, you will never be able to vote no for another development that is sure to take place as soon as these parcels are assembled. So thanks for your time and your careful consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Allie Linder. I live at 123 Folger Street in Clemson, so I'm going to reiterate a lot of what's already been said. Nothing real new, but asked why this development, the answer is that there's more beds. I don't understand why it's the city's responsibility to accept this project at this location. There is no reason. Again, it's a planned development. I said it the last time, there's not check boxes where they meet certain requirements, they automatically get a planned development. It is up to the city to give them that. The Clemson Next white paper was mentioned in February of this year. The city council approved the 2045 comprehensive plan. Page 51, it states that new student housing developments within existing neighborhoods match the architectural character, scale, and setbacks of surrounding homes. That's in the comprehensive plan, page 51. It says it at face value. Nothing about this meets the existing neighborhood. Zone RM4 right now allows for 40-foot setbacks, 4 stories. Developers are being beneficial right now to give us 14 feet off the road. That's a heck of a lot different than 40 feet. Again, don't know why it's our responsibility or the city's responsibility to enhance the lives of the college students. It's not incumbent upon us to pass this PD merely because they have done the best job that they can with the property that they've been able to acquire, because the other property it would be too difficult and take too long to develop, or they assumed Site B that they could not negotiate with the Baptist Convention in order to get it. Doesn't make it ours to deal with. Thank you.
Other comments?
Better not yell.
Okay, Gay Miller, 210 Strawberry Lane. I just want to remind all of you people who are elected by the residents of the city of Clemson who you represent. You do not represent the developers. And I just want to say that we don't care about all the tax revenue that we're supposedly getting for this. We want to preserve our neighborhoods. We want to be able to walk our grandchildren down the road in a stroller without having to worry about getting run over by someone running a stop sign or whatever. So I keep hearing the developers talk about walkability. While students may walk to campus, they need cars to get to work, the grocery store, and many other places like doctor's appointments, shopping, coffee shops, and home for breaks from school. There are over 14,111 undergraduate students from the state of South Carolina at Clemson University. Considering the fact that freshmen will not be allowed to have a car here, I would not encourage my state student to attend Clemson University, because that would mean that I would have to trek back and forth or pay someone to get them home and back to school for breaks. As I mentioned at a previous meeting, people are paving parking lots for students to park, and parents are asking in Clemson University parents' Facebook groups for homes where their student can park their car, so they have access to a car to get back and forth to home, to the store, to the doctor, and wherever else they may need to get.
Other comments?
Stephanie Platt, Mountain View Lane. I just want to ask, years ago, the council said Clemson was going to be a destination city. Is this the kind of destination city that we want? Students? Or we want tourists? Or what do we want? Because right now, I mean, Clemson mostly is becoming a big dormitory for students. And that's all I've seen, especially going down College Avenue. And why are we putting a big student housing complex in a historical neighborhood? Why are we destroying our neighborhoods? Thank you.
Oh, yes. We did,
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Okay.
I was just getting ready to say, well, if there's someone else, we're gonna read one that was submitted. We do get one comment that was submitted online, so just.
We'll let you come up.
Yeah,
I just
no,
wanna
it's
read
all,
this one,
it's all
yeah.
good. It's just, we're gonna make sure to cover.
So this was submitted via the My Civic app to be read at this point in the meeting. This comes from the Schmitz at 112 Folger Street. I believe they also submitted a letter to council members in writing as well. So you guys also have a copy of this. I will read the statement that they gave along with it. And this statement has also been provided to all council members in writing, just so the public is aware. They write, I strongly encourage you to reject the proposed planned development. I wrote to you before the last meeting about the serious safety concerns for students, neighbors, especially children, as well as motorists, bikers, pedestrians, etc. The neighborhood is not designed to handle the additional traffic. Also, the planned development violates the buffer zone requirements. There is no transition zone between the building's north side and single-story family houses. I attached the letter for your convenience. Thank you for all you do, Johannes and Julia. Yes, 112 Folger Street. So just to reiterate, this is for the council members. So.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Rupert 206 North Clemson Avenue. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog Day. A lot of students, a lot of residents and some students will come and speak and they'll oppose PD. And it's just this recurring movie that keeps happening where people speak and then there's a vote and the vote somehow never really supports the residents. And it's rather discouraging. And I think that this particular project is, I went past Bixby, we all know Bixby, it's a 5-story building. Well, this is a 7-story building. And imagine putting the Bixby plus 2 stories on North Clemson Avenue. It's not practical. But it seems like no matter what I say or what people say, these statements, these comments, which really are very valid comments, they're just somehow not registering. And what happens is, and if I was on Polymarket, I would put down a bet on unanimous for it, but 1 or 2 abstaining. It always happens that way. And so what I'm saying is that if you stand outside of that, is that this is a reflection that maybe this system is not working the way we decide these projects. And it's not in favor of the residents. And you think about the amount of increase in population, we're talking about 1 semester at Clemson's growth. So because of that, I'm suggesting that you not vote in favor of this PD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I thank you all very much for what you're doing. And I've thought a lot about this, and I mean, it hurts. It really hurts to think y'all are coming into Strawberry Lane and Folger Street to put more apartments. Y'all, it's enough. We've had enough. And so I want y'all, just as a matter of fact, just as, well, not as a matter of fact, but just as human beings, think if you were in the audience and think if we're sitting where you are. Now, we didn't run a campaign to be where you are. We admire you for the times y'all give to us. But if you were in the audience right now, you would feel humbled, you would feel scared, you would feel worried, you would feel threatened, you would feel heartsick. We all are. We just don't see y'all doing what you told us in the invocation, like the lady said. The invocation says you're thinking about us. You're thinking about the citizens of Clemson, not the students of Clemson, not the campus of Clemson, the town of Clemson. And I call it a town because when I grew up here, 70 some odd years ago, it was a town then. And the town downtown, it's nothing. No one goes down there to shop anymore, I'm sorry. We go to Hartwell Village that Oconee County has provided for us because they knew that that's the kind of thing we were looking for, I guess, because it is. Even the students go there. So put yourselves in our spots. We're homeowners. We're homeowners who've worked all our lives to keep a good home. We've all been students. We all know how hard students work and have to study, but it's time when they grow to be homeowners, they will see where we're coming from. And they'll quit being so demanding that they need more ways to walk to campus. We didn't walk. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Other comments? All right, if not, I'll give council the opportunity to comment as well. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Ms. Crouch.
Did I say something?
No, Ms. Crouch. I do have to technically, because that's part of our rules, just come on up, please. Is everybody okay with additional? If not?
Do you want me to make a motion?
As long,
Yeah.
well, as
I'll
long
make a
as it's
motion
not
to-
repeating
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, I'm
That's all I ask.
Crouch a 2-minute extension. You're good.
Thank you. Okay.
Also, my mother would like me to apologize for her getting so overzealous. She's very passionate about her grandbabies and anything that impacts them. I guess to not repeat everything, I just want to also point out that my husband's also a graduate of Clemson. We graduated in 2016 and 2017. And I know everything wants to be walkable, but we were also come from two different backgrounds. So the price point of some of these apartments that you're charging, there are a whole select large group of these students who cannot afford to even live here. So us throwing all these apartments up just to say, hey, we have walkable stuff. Yeah, well, they can't pay $1,800 a month to live here. It's not realistic. And without a car. Like I said, I lived in Pinehurst when it was first done, and I had a car. And there's enough parking spots in those complex that's currently there for everyone to have one car per bed. It's a thing that you need to do, because then you start saying, oh, everyone has to be walkable or cat buses. How are you going to shove these 19 and 20-year-old girls at 9 o'clock on cat buses to go to the grocery stores or go wherever they can if they need to run a CVS real fast? It poses a dangerous threat to them as well, or a possibility of a threat. I just really hope that you listen to the city. I can't say, we've said everything for weeks and weeks and weeks about why we don't want this, why it's just not the appropriate location for it. I will beg, it's my babies, I will beg, this is our backyard. For any future kids that live in there or any kids that currently live in there, it's just, it doesn't work together. It just really doesn't mesh. But I appreciate y'all's time. Thanks.
Thank you. Council has the opportunity. Comments?
I'll go first. I've had great opportunities to talk to all of my council colleagues in the past couple of weeks on this, and we've had excellent discussions, and I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to have a conversation with each council person, and we're very honest with each other. As I told my colleagues, I'll be voting against this proposal, and I just want to share 3 comments of what informed my decision. First of all, as it's been said, I feel like there's already an excellent building there. In terms for sustainability purposes, to take down a current building to build another at this point in time, I'd rather us not do that. Secondly, as has been discussed, we have a great deal of construction undertaken right now. 2,800 beds are under construction, right in walkable locations to campus. I agree with my colleagues that putting those things on College Avenue, very walkable to campus, was a wise idea, consistent with a comprehensive plan. But I also would say that I would love to see those buildings occupied, and I'll be the first to want to approve new buildings after we see the need when those buildings are occupied. We do not agree in our group or with each other as far as the actual demand. I will say, I believe the indications are that Clemson has not grown its 2% projection in any of the last 4 years. Clemson just recently, for the first time in Clemson's history, has approved fully online undergraduate programs. That's unprecedented. I do not know if we will actually create a lot of those programs, but my point is, I'm not certain that all the predicted demand for housing close to campus will, and I know we disagree on that, but I hope that some of my feelings about that are informed by my knowledge of the university. So those are just a couple of the reasons. And then finally, I'd like to say that it's been pointed out that we have an amazing planning staff at our city, and we have an amazing planning commission. And so to go against those recommendations is not necessarily positive. I would like to take issue respectfully with that. I regard our planning staff in the city of Clemson as unparalleled as far as their professionalism and their skill. I also regard our planning commission as incredibly impressive. The iterative process that you all take with developers to try to make projects better and better has often come up with amazing projects for us. But I will say, planning staff are employed, planning commission are appointed. The council is elected. And what I've heard from voters is the preference to just delay some of these projects and again continue to get some of our stuff that's under construction developed, and so that's my position on this particular project. And I thank the developers for a great presentation also.
I'll let you go first, but I'll come back to that. I'm just going to say my position on this is, and you said it obviously because you and I have discussed it before, that we have an excellent planning department. And we have a really, really good planning commission. And I know how hard they both have worked, and I know that they've vetted this for really almost a year, quite honestly. And quite frankly, they voted, and they advanced it to us, and when they voted 6-1 to advance it to us with a positive recommendation. And that's how I view this project.
All right, I have a couple notes. I'll go ahead. I think I go to white paper, comp plan, all these different things that we referenced over the last few projects that we've looked at, and I think I've been very clear with you guys from the beginning that if this project were a block up on 93, I would feel very different about it. I think that the location is the sticking point for me. We have a desire in Clemson to create these natural transitions that we have not been able to force to happen, where you have a high density corridor like 93 or College Avenue, and then ideally you would have medium density to transition the high to the single family residential. That's naturally happened where this is proposed. And so I can't wrap my head around the idea that we should intentionally remove that when that's a goal of the city and planning documents. I also know that we are getting ready to be looking at yet another proposal. The signs are up in front of the Best Western, and it either goes through a PD or it goes through straight zoning. So it will happen. That's in my mind as well, knowing that that's coming down the pipe to make it a little bit easier for me to make a decision on this project. And then the walkability part of it, while it is physically close to campus, a resident brought up a really good point at the last meeting that there's really not a safe walking path for people to get from the building to campus currently. There's not a sidewalk I drove over there. It's very narrow. If you try to walk around Tiger Park in its entirety, it's very dangerous. Game days, it's very dangerous. We see, ride shares. I know, Nanda, you see that. But all that said, I think if the improvements that you have proposed for North Clemson were going the other way to get people to campus, I also might feel differently. But it's the location and the natural transition with the medium density that is leading me to my vote. So, thanks. And thank you for being receptive to all of our feedback for the last few months. I know it's hard.
Other comments?
Mine is short, because I'll echo what my colleagues have said. Thank you for the time and energy you have put into the project. Our planning staff, Nathan, you and your staff have done an awesome job. Herb, I know you lead the commission, and really, really thankful for what you all do. So I know it's a very difficult task. Justice is very difficult for us as well. For my rationale is, once again, because I do have a better understanding from my lens of the numbers as it relates to our student population. I actually work with Doug on a regular basis, and so I work with him. So I am familiar with the number of students who reside off campus and the needs that are available for those students. But with that being said, it's not about necessarily trying to fulfill a need, but what makes sense for our community, what makes sense for what our residents and what we as a community aspire to be. The comprehensive plan is a 20-year plan, so I don't necessarily look at that as something we have to do immediately. It is a guide, a plan that we have, and depending on the need, if you meet saturation to some point, you want to allow the developments that are being built to determine if indeed we meet that need. And then the plan allows us to fulfill those needs if indeed that's something that's required. To demolish the current development that's there that is actually fulfilling a need, I believe, and has been doing well in that particular area, I think would be difficult and deal with the sustainability and what we're doing, because we're demolishing something to put something back up and something that's already doing well for that community, in that community. So we're not talking about the perimeter of 93 or College Avenue. So I think it's important to keep in mind that also we have a wonderful staff, we have a wonderful commission, but we are elected officials as well. And it's important to hear the residents and their voices. And it's something that I had always said would be important, is to make sure that we understand those voices, because we all actually work for our residents and our business owners more so than ourselves. So this is not an easy decision, but listening and hearing and being what's best for the community, I think for me, I would not vote in favor of the development.
I would like to make a few comments, and those people who know me know one thing: I am not a hypocrite, and the second thing is I'm very blunt and very truthful. Believe it or not, some of y'all will not believe that, but the people up here do know that about myself. First of all, we all sat here a number of months ago, all 7 of us, Ms. Smith as well. We all voted on the comp plan, okay, unanimously. We voted on the comp plan. This is in the comp plan, is high density. We also all voted unanimously about the height being 5 feet or 7 feet. We voted unanimously. Those of you have told me that you know how I'm going to vote. I didn't know how I was going to vote until I was sitting on a plane for 7 hours just a few hours ago, coming back home to make it to this meeting, and thinking about how I was going to vote. I will say that we need to be very careful with how we talk about putting things on pause or waiting, because honestly, the moratorium and the thing that former councils did not do and let stand for 5 years is one of the reasons why we are in this position that we are in now. Having built up demand for apartments. You can shake your head all you want to, Gay, but that is why we are in this position that we are right now, okay? And I have had a very hard time with this. Ms. Ferry, of all the people that have come up and spoken or talked, Ms. Ferry has been the one that has touched my heart the most. And because of that, I am going to abstain from voting on this project. Can I do that? You're looking at me like I cannot.
Abstention's a yes vote.
Is it?
No, abstention goes with a majority.
Abstain, but it's.
It goes with the majority?
Yes.
It's a yes vote.
So I am going to abstain from this vote. I cannot vote. I'm just really torn about this.
Albert, are you gonna speak too?
I'm going to speak, absolutely, but I'm also, before we go there, I'm going to look at our legal counsel just to make.
Abstention is a yes vote.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought if you abstained, you abstained. Okay.
I can go if you want to go. Want me to go?
I think you voted on it a few weeks ago, making a
It's up to
change.
you.
Whichever.
You wanna go ahead?
Sure. So just for clarification, yes, I missed my first meeting in a long time, just 2 weeks ago, or I think it was a little over 2 weeks ago. And I did watch the video, and I did listen to all the comments. I did make sure I was very much up to speed on what's going on. And like any decision we make on council, and I've had numerous discussions with council members, with the community businesses, it's always difficult. You know, I have to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of things. What's in the best interest? What's best on what we're trying to accomplish as a city, what we're trying to accomplish as a community. And it all came down to really, for me, 3 things. You have a year process of planning commission and a planning department that has worked through this process. And I've heard this comment before that we just say yes. There were a lot of no's to this project. And it's been vetted to the best to protect on the 3 stories on the residential side. It focuses on the comp plan for density in specific areas. And it also, when you think about the density, the walkability, yes, everybody's talking about it, but it is more walkable. You're close to campus. So from those 3 things, that's what I came to, and it's like any other decision. It is not something we take lightly. We make every decision. We feel, at least I will say it for myself, I'm not going to speak for others on council, and what we feel is best for the community as a whole, based on what we're dealing with on each project. And in this situation, I will vote yes.
Mr. Mayor, let me correct myself. An abstention is a no vote
No
if
vote.
you don't
Okay.
have a conflict of interest.
Okay.
It's a vote in opposition to the motion. Pardon me.
I thought we just changed that.
I thought we changed that. I mean, I thought that we just had some big major change to make it to where it was for the, I'm just abstaining. I'm saying I don't want to vote yes or no is what I am trying to say. But evidently we have rules and regulations for that. And I remember something coming up within the since the beginning of the, what's this?
Did your match MASC, right?
Yeah.
Because you sponsored that.
I'll double check. I've got
Okay,
I've
just
got the code
clarify,
open and
just
I'm reading it.
clarify.
Oh, thank you,
That
Your
is
Honor.
correct, we matched the MASC model, whatever that is.
Whatever that was.
Clarify what that is.
It says shall be counted in support of the motion.
Okay, I was right the first time. I apologize.
Jones.
Okay, thank you.
I want to be clear tonight. I don't believe there are simple answers to the challenges before us. I also don't particularly like every aspect of how these projects come before council. I have listened carefully to those who oppose the project. I've heard concerns about traffic, neighborhood character, and the future of this area of our city. Those concerns are real, and they deserve to be heard and respected. I have also listened to residents who cautiously support the project or who simply don't have a problem with it. My biggest concern throughout this process has been traffic and the impact on the surrounding neighborhood. In fact, whether this project moves forward or not, I believe we need to take a serious look at the traffic patterns in this area. Neighborhood streets should primarily serve neighborhood traffic. As Clemson continues to grow, we need to have a broader conversation about how traffic is routed and how we protect the quality of life of the people who live here. When I ran for council, I talked openly about what I believed was a failed development process. For years, our community often responded to projects by simply saying no and delaying decisions. The result was not that development disappeared. The result was that projects eventually moved forward with limited public benefit and limited community influence. That's how we ended up with projects like Dockside, Campus View, and the Hub after years of conflict. In return, our community received relatively little compared to what could have been achieved through a more productive process. I promised that I would work to change that approach. I said that we should only move forward with development when our citizens' needs and our infrastructure needs were being addressed as part of the conversation. Since then, we have worked to update our comprehensive plan. We are continuing the work of improving and modernizing our zoning ordinances. And I believe we're getting closer to a future where we're no longer forced into so many politically charged plan development decisions. But today, we must work within the system we inherited. And within that system, I believe a no vote often means giving up our voice at the table. This project brings meaningful public investment to North Clemson Avenue through streetscape and utility improvements that our community needs and would otherwise have to fund ourselves. North Clemson Avenue should be a vibrant and active corridor to our downtown, not vacant buildings and game day parking. I have previously supported a larger student-oriented development that was in my own neighborhood, about 300 yards from my house, and farther from campus. In this case, the project is within walking distance of campus, reducing the needs for vehicle trips and creating opportunities for students to live closer to where they study and spend their time. The scale of the community benefits has stayed the same, even as the scale of the project has been reduced. These are meaningful infrastructure improvements and public benefits attached to the proposal. Most importantly, this process allows Clemson to have a voice. It allows us to negotiate improvements, allows us to address infrastructure, it allows us to advocate for our residents, and it allows us to help shape the future of this corridor rather than simply react to it. No project is perfect. This one certainly isn't. But my responsibility is not to vote for a perfect project. My responsibility is to keep our voice and influence in the process. And after listening, studying the proposal, and considering the alternatives, I do believe it does.
At this time, you want to clarify? We'll just clarify for everybody's benefit.
Sorry, the prior version of the code had an abstention counting as a no. The current version of the code has an abstention counting as a yes. Either way, if you're present, you're voting by voting or not voting. You were not allowed to abstain other than just walking out of the room.
Oh, I have to vote yes or no?
Yes, if you say I abstain, that is a yes vote. That is a vote in support of the motion.
Okay. So,
I thought abstain meant something else, so never mind.
so
I mean, I know we talked about, we changed it, but I thought abstain meant never mind. Okay, so you really, okay, so I have to walk out of the room?
You would have to take your football and go home, yes, if you want to.
Fran regularly abstained. Fran McGuire regularly abstained from
And
voting.
she can.
She
but it will follow
100% can
the
abstain.
ordinance that we recently
She
approved.
100% can abstain. The impact of her abstention would be a vote in support of the motion.
Yeah.
Fran only abstained when we changed the ordinance so that we could abstain. He did not abstain because when it was a no prior to us making that change. But
The
he did
change
not
was just made in
abstain
the
on a regular
26th.
basis. I don't want that in the
Yeah,
record.
I don't know if he ever voted from a abstaining.
I watched it
Did he? Okay, so
multiple times.
But that was when we changed it, so we could abstain.
Yeah.
but back on this,
No, but it was in so the abstain
Oh,
counted
for
as a
crying
no.
out loud.
So-
I didn't know that this was gonna cause such, I thought that I could just abstain by,
you can.
so why can't I just do that?
You heard it from our.
You can, but in the record, it's not recorded.
These are
And
council's
he's-
rules, council can change it.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is, why, I mean,
Yeah.
I can do what, oh, never mind, okay.
All right, at this time, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the first reading of proposed plan development, 201 Pine Street, as presented.
Second.
All right, any other comments or discussion at this time? We'll do a roll call vote, and I will start like I normally do, my right to left. Councilmember Fulmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Sherrill,
No.
Councilmember Evans,
Abstain.
I vote yes. Councilmember Scott,
No.
Councilmember Smith,
No.
Councilmember Jones.
Yes.
All right, I will next go into consider a resolution accepting the dedication of roads and sidewalks. We'll take a quick 2-minute break.
Yes.
So given the discussion,
What?
Yes.
You need to come up here,
Come on.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I was sitting in the back of the room, I couldn't hear the gentleman's comments. So given the discussion, motion passed or failed?
The motion passed.
Based on the fact that she abstained. She did not make a decision.
Right, and that is a yes vote. Yes, sir.
But there's another vote.
Yeah, there is a second
I
reading.
understand there's another vote, but we've all been through
And
this.
everybody storming out doesn't help.
I'm not storming out.
I didn't say you were. No, sir, I did not.
So we'll take,
Okay, Ms. Ferry, thank you.
we'll take a 2-minute break real quickly. All right. So next is to consider a resolution accepting the dedication of roads and sidewalks in phases 10, 11, and Thurman Lane, Patrick Square, and associated right of way and easements. And then Nathan Woods, not Nathan Hinkle, is on the agenda. So Nathan Woods, thank you.
Yes, and I have good notes from Mr. Hinkle here. Tonight, this is the last phase of road dedication and sidewalks from Patrick Square that we'll be accepting. Phase 10 is Cadet Street, Tuttle Street, and the alleyways behind the homes. Phase 11 is the alley behind the homes that face Thomas Green, Tuttle, and Pershing streets and sidewalks, where the old real estate office used to be, for context. And then Thurman Lane near Sunnyside Cafe. And this will be the last dedication that we'll be doing from Patrick Square to the city.
Any questions or comments for Nathan? Any comments from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution accepting the dedication of roads and sidewalks in phases 10, 11, and Thurman Lane, Patrick Square, and associated rights of way and easements.
Second.
Second, okay. Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is consider resolution, as Leslie said earlier, and she's got the next two items, but we'll talk about the first one. Consider resolution to adopt the procurement policy and procedure manual for the city of Clemson to be effective July 1st of this year.
Yes, as previously brought during the discussion items last meeting, we have provided a procurement policy and procedure manual that we would like for you to consider effective July 1.
Questions for Leslie? All right, comments? All right, anybody from the public?
With the old and with the new.
All right, what's up, Leslie, you mind staying up here? Yeah, because you're gonna get.
I was just moving in case anyone wanted to speak.
I know what you're doing, thank you. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution to adopt the purchasing card policy and manual for the city to be effective July 1st, 2026.
Second. Me too.
Any comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much, and that's why, Leslie, thank you for staying back up there. Consider resolution to adopt the purchasing card policy and manual for the city of Clemson to be effective also July 1st of 2026.
Is that what I just read?
It's a repeat.
This is the second.
No, this is the purchasing card policy.
Okay, sorry.
We had a procurement.
Yeah, we have
Apologies.
here, this purchase.
And then the purchasing card, yes.
We call it a P card.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
we call it
I
P
was-
card too.
So,
Sorry.
but we're clarifying the purchasing.
This
card
is what
here.
I just read, was this policy and manual.
It's up there actually, or P card, so.
P card.
Got it. So now we're going to the purchasing.
P card,
Got
yes.
it, got it. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. It was, sounded.
But this is not,
Yeah.
That's it.
I just read that, okay, sorry.
No, you read the first one.
Just to clarify, so we're on the same page?
I was just like, everybody know I have an 8-week-old at
Okay,
home.
yes,
and
I
I'm
know.
65 and I'm very
See, I'm jet
I'm
lagged.
the same way.
Yeah, I can't read when I'm tired.
So you good?
I'm good, yes,
Okay.
apologies.
Any comments or questions for Leslie? Any from the public?
Sorry, Leslie.
All right, would somebody like to make a
Just
motion?
double it.
I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution to adopt the purchasing card policy and manual for the city of Clemson to be effective July 1st, 2026. Thank you.
Comments or discussion?
We got there eventually.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Thank you, Leslie. Other policy items, there are none that I'm aware of. I'm looking around, okay. Mayor, council reports.
There are amazing summer camps that are open with the rec department. Claire signed up for tennis, great prices for multiple weeks of things to keep your kids busy. Camp Clemson, I know, is already closed, but also an amazing program. So if you're still looking for things for your kids to do over the summer, follow the Parks and Rec department on social media because they're actively posting new things to do. We signed Claire up just a few days ago for tennis, so they're still there.
Thank you for sharing.
I have two things.
Yes, ma'am.
The first, as I know, we have the signs out for Best Western, but one of the recommendations I think is important, if we do a public session, public hearing, that we not necessarily do it before a council meeting, because we want to give the community, which is what I've heard, is that we don't give them enough time, or they're trying to get off work and they can't get here in time. And so individuals who really want to come and make a comment aren't able to get here. So since these are very, very important to the community, I think it's important to have the public hearing not interfere with trying to get through it so we can start our city council meeting. And so that's just something I think would be more appropriate, is to have that as a standalone versus trying to do that on top of the meeting, because then we roll right into discussion. And I think we do need time to hear and listen and vet that, and then maybe have the discussion at the next meeting. So that's just something I wanted to make a recommendation. You all can decide one way or the other, but I think that would be a benefit for the community. For those who can't get here at 5:30, they may need to get here in that time. So that's just something I wanted to support, throw out. My other comment is Juneteenth celebration is going to be the 19th, which is Friday. It's going to be at Little John Community Center. It's a block party, so we're inviting everyone out. The advertisement is out now. If you have anyone that would like to be a vendor, please send that information to Little John Community Center and they can apply. But we're looking forward to having a good response. People coming, Clemson University having Juneteenth that morning from 11 to 2 on campus.
10 to 3.
Is it 10 to 3 now? 10 to 3 on
At the Hendrick
campus.
Center, right.
At the Hendrick Center. So that is also taking place on that Friday, but that's during the morning hours.
At Little John, though, it's from 4 to what?
No, it's 5 to 9.
5 to 9, okay.
Yes.
I thought it started 4, okay.
It's 5.
Thank you. Other comments? Any new business? If not, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn? Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.